Hey everyone, Dinosaur here. Today we're talking about how I took Tistina Fiendsmith to an OTS Championship. I got paired against someone who I respect from our local scene. He was on Malice, which is a pretty good matchup for me, and I had game 1 set and ready to win with an OTK. However, I top decked Mulcharmy Fualos for turn, so I normal summoned it, so I could flip it face down with Breath of Tistina. The only cards on my field at this point were SP Little Knight and Veridris with no materials. His field, one set card, and Malice and Underground. I targeted Fua with Breath of the Tistina, and in response, he chained Metal Tronus, targeting my Fualos. He summons his own Fua and banishes them both, stopping my breath in its tracks, and losing the one search that I had for the turn. So yes, I lost the game to Metal Tronus targeting Mulcharmy Fualos, and then he top decked Dormouse for the turn after. Game 2, I went first and saw only my Fiendsmith stuff. Unfortunately, it got interrupted with Bestial mid-combo, so I had to set a Discordance of the Tistina, another unfortunate thing to just open, and pass my turn. Next proceeded a Malice OTK, and I had no interruptions. My opponent outplayed me in this match with Metal Tronus. We talked, and if I had targeted Veridris in that scenario, I would have had Breath Resolve and performed an OTK for game 1. All respect goes to him for sure. I was paired against another one of the local players whom I respect. He was playing a Dino Ryugi combo, and it was actually pretty fierce. Game 1, he played first, and I had activated Mulcharmy Fualos from hand. He decided to play through the Fua, and did his full combo with a minor misplay that would have resulted in one more interruption on the field. By the time it came to my turn, I had the full Fiendsmith and Tistina combo in my hand, plus 3 infinite impermanences. I used all of the imperms in the draw phase on his monsters, then proceeded to OTK by setting up Caesar, Veridris, and Tistina, where Tistina attacks directly twice for 4,000 life points. Game 2, I opened only hand traps, and you can kinda guess what happened here. I trapped him enough that he had to end on a poor board, but unfortunately I just drew another Ash Blossom for turn and just had to pass back. After a couple turns of back and forth hand traps, he finally drew something to let him play through what I had in hand and took the game from there. Game 3, I played first and set up my full combo, except I had to go into Gustav Max and burn him for 2,000 life points, as we had 3 minutes left on the clock when we started this game. I passed the turn over with about a minute and a couple seconds left, and his combo just didn't quite get there as I had a set Imperm and Ash Blossom in hand, so I took this game in time with Gustav. I paired against someone who I have actually been wanting to duel for a while. However, he was playing White Forest, which turned out to be a very bad matchup for Tistina. That being said, he played very well and evaded almost everything I was able to throw at him. Game 1, he played first and set up enough combo to flip my Fabled Lurry and stop my Tistina follow-up, so I had to pass with a face-down Lurry and nothing else. Game 2, I played first and set up Caesar with 2 materials, normal summon Sentinel and activate its effect, targeting itself. He chains Ghost Ogre, and the Sentinel resolves without effect. I activate Divine Domain from hand, send Hound to the graveyard for follow-up play, and I pass my turn here. I let him get to a point where he could Synchro Summon, and this is where I misplayed. The Azamana LZ is something I should have stopped with Caesar, and not doing so resulted him in being flipped face down. So he was free to play through his combo from there. In retrospect, it might be a smart play to set Divine Domain for Sentinel, especially if you open another Tistina spell or trap, solely to play around Ghost Ogre, as she hits a lot of the decks in the meta right now and is starting to see more play. After talking about it, I would have absolutely seen more of the Tistina combo, at least enough to set up Veridris on that board as well, preventing the flip of Caesar. All in all, a very knowledgeable duelist and someone who plays carefully around cards that he doesn't know, something I'm currently working on. I need to mention that my round 4 opponent was the sweetest and nicest duelist I've met in a long time. He gave me compliments about how I played the deck and game, which made me feel very warm and fuzzy inside. He was playing Mermail Atlantean, a deck that I have a lot of experience with as my little brother currently plays it. Game 1, he plays first and ends his full combo with Totally Awesome. I had impermed one of his Abyss Sharks, so only one Toad, but still the rest of the main combo. Fortunately for me, I had also opened Engraver, Demigod, Breath, and Divine Domain, and I top decked a Sentinel as well, so essentially the God Hand. I used the Fiendsmith combo to bait out the interrupts and the Toad on board, then went into the Tistina combo using Breath to flip Abyss Gaios face down and find my OTK with Hound and Tainted. Game 2 he plays first, and I happen to open a Droll and Lockbird and an Ash Blossom, plus enough combo to get started. He ends on enough to pass comfortably after Droll and Ash, and I take my turn. A similar situation occurs from the last game, though I don't quite get to a rank 10 here, so I used Hound and Return to make an Abyss Dweller, and then I end on a Desiree with Agnum Day and Sequence equipped. He makes it through the Dweller, but not the Desiree, and I slowly drain his life points from there with it. A wonderful duel, and I hope I cross paths with him in the future. This round is going to be with me forever, and in a bad way, and I should mention that I introduced myself to my opponent and he kind of just scoffed at me and never introduced himself. He was a very seasoned duelist and had to read every single one of my cards as I activated them. Perfectly legal, of course, but can really run down the clock. He was playing Malice, and in game 1, I had game on board, but I made a fatal misplay that stopped me dead in my tracks. I had my OTK board set with Veradris, I declared an attack with Sentinel, and he attempted to Bestial here. I negate it with Veradris, detaching Tainted from him. I make the mistake of activating Tainted, which has the clause that I can only attack with one monster this turn. Sentinel continues its attack, and I have to end on just dealing 1200 damage with it and passing. I lose to the full Malice combo here as he uses talents to take control of my Tistina, which still has 4000 attack, and attacks over Veradris and links it away from there. After side decking, I choose to play first, and of course I'm a little flustered. I open my hand to see Fabled Lurie, Fiendsmith in Paradise, Discordance of the Tistina, Mulcharmy Meowls, and Hound of the Tistina. I just move to my end phase and pass. He opens full combo and Ash Blossom, so my Meowls never draws me a card, and I just lose the game here. Thankfully, this round was a bit redeeming, for my mood and the record. My opponent was playing Pearly, a deck a close friend of mine played since she got her hands on it back when it was released, so I was familiar with the plays. Game 1, I win the die roll, and we play a very grindy back and forth game where I end up taking it by summoning Engraver from the graveyard, equipping it with Requiem, and then using it targeting a Zeus on his board. He activates the Zeus, of course, and it sends my Discordance to the graveyard, so I could activate it and get a starter back in my hand and OTK from there. Game 2, he was able to go full combo, but we still had some grind game happening. Eventually, a Noir had about 8 materials attached, and I just can't get through that, no matter the hand I open. Game 3, I played first and opened enough to make 2 rank 10s, so I made a Verudris and a Gustav Max and burned for 2000 as there was only 1 minute on the clock when I ended my turn. Over to his turn, and he can't get through my end board enough to deal me any damage, so yet another time win with Gustav Max. This was an awesome duel and a great way to end my event here. All in all, this event was very fun to take a deck like this too. My game win percentage was 43%, a bit low, but still very good when we're talking about a rogue deck. And the match win percentage was right at 50%, and the record was 3 wins, 3 losses, and 0 draws. So not too shabby if you ask me. Maybe there is something to Tistina, and maybe Chaotic Elements coming out in the future will bring some light to the deck and make it a pretty viable rogue deck. Let me know what you think in the comments, and as always, thanks for watching.